Well, hello everyone. This week Jasper and I are going to bring you on a road trip up the Minnesota River Valley for some photography, some scenic adventure, and a pilgrimage to Carl's Bakery. Well, if you've spent any time in southern Minnesota, you've certainly driven probably through the Minnesota River Valley. But in reality, one of my favorite things to do on a weekend when I have a little extra time is to take a little road trip down the scenic byways of the river valley. There's gravel roads that travel along both sides of the river valley, and they're all labeled as Minnesota Scenic Byways. There's so much history. A lot of history related to the 1862 Dakota conflict, and history going all the way back to the Ice Age in and along this river valley. The river valley, the Minnesota River Valley itself, was carved out between 9,400 years ago and 11,700 years ago at the end of the last Ice Age. Its formation was a rapid, dramatic event caused by the catastrophic drainage of glacial Lake Agassiz. That ended up forming an enormous river called the River Warren that ended up carving out the river valley that in many places is as much as 250 feet deep. The present-day Minnesota River that winds its way around the river valley is just a fraction of the amount of water and space that the River Warren once flowed through this valley. About 8,500 years ago, as glaciers retreated further north, Lake Agassiz found lower outlets towards Hudson Bay, causing River Warren to finally cease flowing. When traveling along these scenic byways, it's kind of hard to imagine that at one point in time there would have been a couple hundred feet of water over the top of your head. Can't visit the river valley without visiting some of the parks that reside along the valley. The state of Minnesota has several state parks. There's Minneopa down by Mankato, Flandreau State Park by New Ulm, Fort Ridgely south of Fairfax, and Lac La Parle State Park over by Montevideo. But a county that deserves a big shout out is Renville County. They maintain several county parks, one of which we're in right now. But Mack Lake over near Fairfax, Anderson Lake, Birch Coulee Park, which is has a lot of history there around the 1862 Dakota War. There was a battlefield there. Vicksburg Park that we're in right now, Beaver Falls County Park and Skalbekken's closer to Granite Falls that we're going to visit in a little while. All of these parks offer lots of things to do in the wintertime, summertime: camping, fishing, hiking, snowmobiling, ATVs, horseback riding. They really are a treasure. Vicksburg Park that we're visiting right now has some interesting history in the fact that the settlers that settled the small little community of Vicksburg were all soldiers in the Civil War, hence the name Vicksburg. When the railroad went through Delhi to the south of here, a lot of the business and so forth went away from Vicksburg, and the town by the early 1900s disappeared. Welcome to Skalbekken Park. Skalbekken became the first official park in Renville County Park System, and it was established back in 1967. The land was originally owned by Ole Skalbekken. There are also some documents that state his name as Ole Skalbek. A couple of the interesting features of the park includes a original log home that belonged to Ole, and later Odin Skalbek, who was a former county commissioner in Renville County and was responsible for a lot of the development of the park system in Renville County. The cabin was relocated to the park in 1974 to ensure its preservation. And I'll pop up a picture here of the cabin that I took on a different visit during the summertime. It's a little too cold today to walk back there to snap a current picture. But the park encompasses about 400 acres where Hawk Creek flows into the Minnesota River. This area features some of the world's oldest geologic formations, including some 3.6 billion year old gneiss outcrops. Some more recent developments of the park following the 2023 closure and land transfer of the former Upper Sioux Agency State Park back to the Upper Sioux community. Skalbekken has been identified for some major expansion and improvements using some state funds to help meet the regional demand for recreation. I think they're planning on making some improvements to the campground, building some camper cabins in the area. I'm looking forward to those improvements. The park is beautiful now, but some improvements would be a welcome thing.
Carl's Bakery reveal. Do a quick flyover.